guys. Okay, so like I said, chapter 9 was coming. Here's chapter 9. From sunshine to shadow. I feel like this is not going to be a very happy chapter, which makes me sad. All right. Mushers are not social butterflies. Once the racing season ends, we tend to keep to ourselves, almost like we were hibernating. During the summer, we train our pups, we rebuild our kennels, we do what we can to keep ourselves and our dogs in shape despite the warm weather. At the end of the 2007-2008 racing season, November through March, I was Maine's top junior musher and the bronze medalist in the junior division for the International Sled Dog Racing Association, ISDRA. I set my sights on competing every weekend during the new season. Points are earned according to such things as distance traveled, number of days run, number of teams competing, and the quality of the teams competing. If I ran more races, I could earn more points. My goal was to become ISDRA's silver medalist. My dogs and I enjoyed 2 fall events prior to the sanctioned races of the 2008-2009 season. At the Northern New England Sled Dog Trade Fair, we mushers participated in Just for Fun dryland races. During the Down East Sled Dog Club Fall Festival in Oxford, Maine, I camped out with my friends and we trained our teams. We enjoyed a pig roast, an auction, and a band. I competed with QED, Quentin, my goofy Alaskan Husky, who likes to run in circles, in Canicross with my friend Rachel. We took some wrong turns, but still got back first. Our friend Ed scratched his head when he saw us. I can't believe I've been outrun by 2 girls as young as you, he said. Dryland racing is harder than running on snow, and the Pineland course in New Gloucester, Maine is a killer. I had run it twice before. I knew what to expect, and that made me nervous. To prepare for the November challenge, I ran 2 hours every day uphill and rocks with QED or Rev. I had to put booties on QED's sensitive feet to keep the rocks from eating him alive. In Sunday's race, I came in 11 seconds after the first place winner. Though I had run faster than the day before, I had not given my dogs full rein. It was possible that Sage was pregnant from an unplanned mating, and I didn't want her to be injured. The second weekend in January, I ran Virgil, Justice, and Sage in the Moose River Run in Jackman. My team and I needed to stay focused for the race. I wanted to get it over with because I had time to get scared. Before I had time to get scared. I got a little cocky on the turn and took it faster than normal. My sled tipped. I pulled myself to my knees on the runners and slowly eased into a standing position. Finally, I got the sled righted. The day I placed 3rd with the juniors and last with the adults. The next day, it was 10 degrees below zero with a wind chill of 20 degrees below zero. I came back frozen and limped into the clubhouse to warm my purplish fingertips. They hurt so much that tears ran down my cheeks. It was all worth it, though, because I came in first for the juniors. After the official races ended that weekend, despite the cold weather, kids and adults ran the trails together, chasing each other just for fun. I played tag with Jameson Turner, an 18-year-old musher. "Trail!" I yelled, and he let me by. Before long, he was on my tail. When we hit the hill, he shouted, "Trail!" We charged up the hill side by side, trying to outdo each other. That was my last carefree day of the season. That weekend, Virgil got sick. His nose was swollen. Anu must have smacked him with a claw while we were playing. I didn't know it then, but Virgil would never race again. As Maine's top junior musher in 2007-2008 season, I was invited to represent Team USA in the 3-Dog Sprint Junior World Cup Championships in 2009 in Quebec. Virgil and I worked hard to prepare for the competition, but a week before the big event, he came down with a puzzling fever of 105 degrees. As the days crept by, he got sicker. Twice, the vet lanced his swollen nose to release the pus inside. We thought a poisonous spider must have crawled up Virgil's nose and bitten him. I would have to compete without him in Quebec. I still had hot-footed Sage, whose speed made my hair stand on end. I added Skittles, the dog that drums on the ground when she sees her food coming, to my Quebec team. Before we left for Quebec, though, she came in heat and I couldn't run her. First Virgil, now Skittles. My team was falling apart before the most important competition in my life. What was I going to do? Face your challenge head on and it won't seem so bad, Mom said. In the 2008 Iditarod, my hero Lance Mackey had to drop his lead dog, Hobo. He continued on for 700 miles, led by a 1-year-old dog, and won the gold for second time. Like Lance, I would carry on. One of our friends came to my rescue and lent me a solid lead dog named Black. I was back in the running. Black and Sage would be lead dogs while Justice did wheel. We would prevail or die trying. I hoped Virgil would be running with us in his mind and give us his knowledge and speed we needed. When we got to the racing area, we juniors were told we couldn't compete. These kids didn't come all this way for nothing, my mom argued in French. After 4 hours of waiting while the officials debated the situation, we were told we would be allowed to race, but we wouldn't be given any points. Big disappointment. If I'd stayed at home and raced, I would have earned points toward my silver medal. Eventually, my team and I were flying down the Iditarod Trail. My two substitutes ran well with Justice, and we came in second, but I missed my soulmate Virgil. With Virgil still ill, I worried about the Mushers Bowl the next weekend. When the time came, Skittles raced in Virgil's position. I placed first in the three-dog junior class for the weekend. Skittles ran so well, I decided to keep her on my team for the rest of the season. In preparation for moving up to the pro races the next season, I also ran in the adult 4-dog sportsman division. The following weekend, my team and I competed in Tramworth, New Hampshire. 3 of my competitors were kids who had never run a race. My friend Lily was sent out first, followed by a newbie. I was third. It didn't take me long to catch up to the newbie since her dogs were trotting, not running. "Trail," I yelled when I was close enough to be heard. Instead of pulling over to let me pass, the newbie kept saying, "G over, haw, over," while her dogs trotted along in the middle of the narrow trail. "Stop your team and let me pass." She ignored me for half the distance of the race. If there had been a bumper on my sled, I would have tapped her a few times. Then I'd have given her an "I'm older than you and better. I'm older and you'd better get out of my way" look. Near the 1/8 mile marker, the trail widened a bit. "Let's go, Skitty." We blew by the newbie like she was standing still. The next morning, Lily was sent out first. I was second. I caught her near the end of the race. "Trail," I yelled. Before she could pull over, her dog Cheddar stopped to poop in the middle of the trail. There was no room to go around him. After waiting for him to get done, I passed Lily at the finish line. The winner of weekend competitions is determined by adding the time on the trail both days. Thanks to the newbie who wouldn't give way, my team and I came in 47 seconds behind Lily, the first place finisher. By now, Virgil had been sick for 3 weeks. His face was still swollen, and he snorted when he breathed. Nana took him back to the veterinarian's office. The vet concluded he had a respiratory sickness called snuffles, or rabbit fever. Was my best dog dying? Was this punishment for something I'd done? Nana must have sensed my fear of losing Virgil. "Rabbits sometimes die from the fever," she said, "but dogs can lick it out." Hearing that raised my hopes that Virgil would respond to the treatment, but it wouldn't be in time to race again this season. I cried myself to sleep, praying for Virgil to get well. During the day, I smiled and talked to him to keep his spirits up. I wanted what was best for him. I would let him rest and do my best with the other dogs. At the Farmington Frolic in February, I ran the 3-dog junior with Skittles, Sage, and Justice against 5 other drivers. On Saturday, we smoked the competition, finishing 4 minutes ahead of the second-place team. A thaw made Sunday's race tough. The snow had turned to slush, and the dogs struggled to pull the sled. When our racing times were tallied, we had won first place by 6 minutes. That weekend, I ran the 3-dog junior and the 4-dog sportsman races. The race officials sent out the juniors, followed by the pros, and then the mushers in the sportsman division. Very little time elapsed between the races. I charged through the junior trail with my 3 dogs, scrambled back, undid them for their harnesses, praised each one, and then hooked my 4 other dogs to my sled in preparation for the sportsman race. Saturday, I was sent out last of 8 teams. I caught up to the others one by one and yelled, "Trail! Excuse me, pardon me." I took second place in 12 minutes in that adult sportsman race. On Sunday, I had to go out of the starting chute against Poppy. He was running his young puppy team. It was my first time to race against him. "I'll let you win," I yelled above the barking dogs when we were in the chute. "Don't play nice," he shouted back. "Just go for the gold." Poppy had encouraged me so much I felt guilty trying to outrun him and his team. When I passed them, I called to his pups and slapped my thighs, encouraging them to chase me. Smoke him, Mom had said. I did. That day, my dogs and I came in first by almost 5 minutes. Poppy and his young pups came in 6 minutes behind us. Overall, we placed second in the adult 4-dog sportsman division for that weekend, just 14 seconds behind the winner. Doing that well in the sportsman division was an encouragement for me, since I plan to move up to the adult competitions during the next season. Okay, that was chapter 9. Chapter 10 is going to be really depressing. So that's not going to be fun. But, alright, so I will post the questions and the chapters. Yeah, alright. Bye, y'all.